Who made that man a gunner?
I did, sir. He's my cousin.
Who is he?
He's an asshole, sir.
I know that. What's his name?
That is his name, sir. Asshole. Major asshole.
And his cousin?
He's an asshole too, sir. Gunner's mate, first class, Philip Asshole.
How many assholes we got on this ship anyhow?
Yo!
I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
Hello everyone, yes, smash a like, comment and subscribe for more daily videos with me, MrSneakyy, and I hope you've been enjoying all of the memes, introductions that I've been starting to do on the videos to make it a little bit more funny and entertaining in the start. But what we're going to be watching is the big pushes, right? This is basically continuing on from yesterday's videos, where if you've watched it, you'd have seen all the BD and NASA fights that we've been doing on a very nice neutral style, right? Now, this is going to be a bit of a savage one, I'm not going to lie. This is when BD full prime time is on, and look at, again, we have to pause and just always say coordination, right? Because here, when you're looking at even the aggressors, right, they're having to come through this massive choke point of the bridge, using that giant bear to run through with all of their infantry, and just count how many infantry markers you see there. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 infantry T5s running straight in. And the thing is, what people don't realize when we come into the actual PvP side of things, again, infantry actually plays a massive part. People look at infantry and think, you know, these guys are nothing. They're just there to meet shield and kind of take the damage and do nothing. But the problem is, that is very bad thinking, right? Because the thing with infantry, as you will notice, the more higher level you get and the more top level alliances that you fight, infantry plays a massive important role. Because the thing is, you are able to go into these massive crazy fights, as you can see here when we're trying to zoom in without the simple mode on, right? But you're able to use your infantry to go into these murder balls from your enemies, and then use like the Spirit Bone Talk to get taunt, which draws aggro, allowing your DPS to do more damage. And on top of this, if you technically leave those infantry units alone, right? If you don't focus those infantry units, especially like Goresh and Skullgirl, a T5 Goresh Skullgirl in a murder ball, just doing its own thing, is going to do an insane amount, and I mean an insane amount, of area of effect damage. And those little kills that the infantry players are actually generating for free, basically, is massive. It actually comes into the hospital bills, right, against who you are fighting. So I really wanted to put that out there, right, and give some love to the infantry players that are rocking them in this fight. Because you can see here now, they have decimated, right? BD doing some great coordination and decimating this bottom side of us, right? And from here, we've been able to obviously kind of stretch back out, but we're more vertically longer now, right? We're not horizontally long. And you can see as time progresses, because this fight, guys, was about a 10-minute fight. And obviously, you guys don't want to watch full 10 minutes of it. So I give you those nice little glimpses, you know, in between each of the fights. And you can see here, look, BD fully crushing it. This is perfect, if you want to say, perfect focus fire, right? They're focusing on the right units and at the right sections. Because the thing is, when you come into murder balls, you might obviously get confused with who should you target, right? Should you target the guys in the middle, or this guy, or that guy? And you can tell with the voice comms they are using clearly on their Discord server, you can hear them, right? And you can visually see them, which is even more scary. You can visually see their reactions. If they get told to pull back, they instantly pull back. If they tell you to attack on the left side, they attack on the left side. And the thing is, all of those decisions is war experience. So again, for the man, I think it does in the BDO lineup, and I don't know who else is shot calling. I don't know if it's Papa Nasty and obviously like Chisgo. I don't know all of the BDO officers there, right? But if any of those guys doing all of the shot calling, you can tell their war experience is coming out, right? Because war experience is massive in Call of Dragons, right? It allows you, from the times you've played, to understand, okay, in this situation, we need to pull back. In this situation, we actually need to push forward so we cannot take any nasty, you know, deads, right? And this is very key, and you can actually see this from all the gameplay. And if we go back to the beginning of this footage again, just to replay, a really good example of it is when the BD camp initially pushes, right? So if we go back to the beginning of this fight, you can see all of the NASA guys in simple mode and off simple mode, right? And to see the difference of how many matches you're able to see. But what you're going to notice is this push, right? This is a very orchestrated push, and this is kind of summarizing this beautiful first gameplay and first aggressive push from the BD guys. Because if we pause it here, look at that. Look at how many infantry are running in. They are not stopping. They have been given the goal, and as soon as they've been given the goal, look at this. Every single person on the BDO camp is moving across the bridge, but they're not really staying on the bridge. This is very important, because when we go and see this now, you'll notice they're going to start wrapping around, right? They're going to wrap around on this left flank, and the whole purpose of that is to get out the choke point, right? Because if you're fighting on that bridge, you can still imagine, yes, currently on our server, the intercept mode isn't going to allow them to obviously get blocked and choked into it, right? Because they can walk through it with this new mechanic, but it's still massively, you know, disadvantageous to be on that bridge, because you're still taking, in theory, giant area of effect damage for free. So I really like this, right? Even though this is a complete mess, and I can imagine you guys trying to play this on mobile devices right now and having a good time, and your phone's probably getting melted off, thrown across the screen, right? Getting thrown at a wall. But you can see it, and this is kind of where I wanted to pause and finish this first gameplay breakdown, right? Because look at it. You can see that top right murder ball of the BD camp fully spread across. And the beautiful thing is with the NASA guys, look, because I'm fighting for the NASA boys, right? And you might be thinking, Sneaky, how are you so in favor of BD, even though they're the enemy? It's just like, guys, you've got to give credit where credit's due. Let's just be honest, right? So when you look at even the NASA guys, we're the same. We're just super, super spread out. And the reason why we're super spread out is the same reasoning, right? Even though we're on the defensive, we realistically don't want to take as much area of effect damage. So it's a very key little area of here when we're looking into this fight. So let's go into the next gameplay footage. This is a massive big fight as well that follows up where even I was technically live on Chisgold's channel talking away to him on the mod chat, and we both was like, yo, we need to quickly fight. So it became a very focused fire and heavy insane gameplay too. So welcome to the gameplay 2 side, and this is almost like a mimic of last time, right? So you can see all of the BD guys coming through again, straight across the bridge, going to that flank, but this is a little bit different now, right? This is coming from the NASA point of view, and this is a second fight that followed up straight after that first major fight, right? And you can see how NASA have actually fully adopted and changed their style, right? Before you saw in that first gameplay, we was very spread out, right? And it was still nice to be very spread out to avoid the area of effect damage. However, this time we're still spread out, but you can see, look, it's clearly more compact in a shape, right? You can see we're more from this top side going all the way down, right? And that's better because that means even though you're in a kind of a tighter group at times, you're actually focus firing. And as you guys know, in this current meta, archers and just single target DPS is generally reigning supreme. Let's just be honest, because people are dying so fast from all of the archer damage just getting targeted with that long range warfare, right? And he is looking very scary, right? BD are doing some very nasty pushes, right? And they're doing what they are known for, going across the bridge and then just pushing forward. They don't stop until they're able to basically wipe everyone off the battlefield. But NASA here are doing some great things. Look, they are kiting back, and kiting back is going to cause these BD pushes actually a big problem now, because the thing is, what's happening on the NASA side is they're going to attack and then pull back a little bit, attack and pull back a little bit, and that is just the basic premise of kiting in Call of Dragons. And by doing this, what you're allowed to do is basically pull players out of position, right? So if you look at all of these BD guys now looking on this side, they're getting pulled out of position by the NASA players, right? The NASA are going up, they're starting attacking, and they quickly pull back as they're about to get targeted. And if they're quick enough, obviously the player's going to target them and move out of position, meaning then anyone in this murder ball by the NASA guys is going to focus fire whoever's at front, right? And this is, again, nothing new if you're a very experienced war player, but for many newer players or just players that are looking to get better at PvP in this game, this is a very fundamental mechanic, right? This is different to playing like Rise of Kingdoms where you can just run at each other. You need to abuse the whole range mechanic, and look at it, you can see we're able to do it. And this was the first obviously big great W for the NASA guys, so I want to congratulate them here. This is technically a 1-1 in the video right now, right? And they're able to push all the way through and get some nasty obviously damage put onto the BD boys. So here BD are going back, they're going to be refreshing, as you can imagine, for another round of things. But I just wanted to showcase this off and just show, look, it's not always one-sided, right? Everything is not as one-sided as people think. There is times when, obviously, NASA has some really good activity, as you can see, even on this stage, and they're able to do some great defending, but as well, BD have an insane amount of activity, and that activity uptime is what is winning the war. And it's kind of the one thing we've always said in Call of Dragons, right? Activity wins wars. It's just simple as that. You could be, you know, the Mephisto of Call of Dragons with 1 billion power, but if you're not active, it doesn't matter, right? So it's really, really important to know that, right? Power doesn't always win. Activity wins, right? If you have the activity and the uptime and constantly being able to apply pressure, that is what's going to win you your seasons in Call of Dragons, right? And we're going to see another massive, and this is a monumental push, as you can imagine, from BD. Coming through the bridge one more time, and what they're trying to do right here, if you've not noticed throughout all of these gameplays, is they're trying to destroy that top ever flag, right? The top flag that's on 93% center of the screen. What they're doing is pushing through, trying to get some troops onto that flag to destroy it, to allow them to obviously plant a flag more aggressively and push towards the NASA territory, right? And this is obviously going to open up a lot of flags, as you can imagine, right? If you're able to destroy enemy flags, because that means potentially you're going to zero some cities. And I'm not going to lie, I've got a nice little bit of special footage at the end just to showcase you guys what has currently gone on, right? What's update you guys as you've been enjoying all of these videos so far, from like the morning, the afternoon, and this is technically the next day of the Zone 2 war between BDO and NASA. But here we go, look, BDO doing their thing, and honestly, congratulations, big W there for them, being able to push us all back. And this is basically the return fire that you're watching right now. So obviously BDO being very successful, killing us, absolutely slaughtering us with some great focus fire. And you can see they got the flag down to 85%, which isn't too shabby for a nice little push, right? But as you can imagine, NASA and myself, we've got all of the refresh time, right? You're on our territory, so by being on our territory, we are able to refresh our open field. And as you can imagine, like any normal fight, once the first initial big war has ended, you know, the reinforcements come up just to clean up all of the orange and red troops. So what we're going to do is go into the main game now, and I'm going to showcase what has been going off in Call of Dragons. And now we're at reality, right? The current time of where all of our action has finally finished, right? Because obviously waking up today, early morning, we can see where the progression of the BD camp has finally landed, right? And you can see they were successful, right? Being very successful on their pushes, being able to push through all of those fights we've been watching from the bridge side, to the point where they're able to build all the way through, even capture the second spire, and keep going through the destruction, right? So as you can imagine now, anyone in the NASA camp, if you ain't shielded or you're not paying attention and you're not TPing out, you're gonna get hit, right? Because we can even see it right now, right? We've got 30 seconds before Striker is gonna be sending another rally out, and we're gonna be hitting Misfit here, 900k merits, 73 million power. We'll see how devastating this will look visually, but while we're waiting, I've got some reports, right? So these reports should be popping up on screen now, and you can just see a couple, right, of different rallies that have been hitting cities, some really positive trades for the BD, as well as one that's clearly wasn't good in their favor, right? 100k deads to the city, to over 200,000 deads, right, on the BD rally. So We'll see how this is going to rely on now. We've got Striker coming in with his Syndron rally. It's going to be probably Syndron and Freygar to do the maximum kind of like normal attack damage, which does honestly fill people's hospitals more. If you are trying to like rally people, make sure you're sending like infantry or archers, because if you are sending like a mage or a cavalry rally, even though they do insane damage, the problem is it's all skill damage. And the thing is with skill damage, and this is kind of an advanced tip from Rise of Kingdoms, people will tell you skill damage is not the way to zero a city. You kind of want as much normal and counter hits to properly fill that hospital up before any skill damage is applied to then create deads, right? So we can see here Striker doing some big damage onto Misfit, Misfit coming down into the yellow, and you can imagine this is going to be devastating for Misfit when he wakes up. So big L on him, you know, part. But now when we're looking at the actual map a bit more, you can see that most of us have, especially myself, teleported into Z1 last night. Because I knew if this was, you know, carrying on and I stayed up on this top side, I'm probably going to get zeroed. And, you know, it's just smart to teleport out. So you're probably wondering what is going to be going on right now, right? So we might still fight in this Z1. I don't know the whole plan. We might have a little bit of a skirmish, but the main thing is, as you guys know, the past freeze, right? These past freeze are going to be opening in about a week's time, meaning it's going to be round 2. Round 2 of NASA versus BD in Zone 3 this time, right? So it's going to be very interesting to see how this fight develops. And this is a very big fight, obviously, for the NASA camp. Because if we're not able to fight and punch through this BD, you can imagine, look, the Zone 3's here. Zone 4's there, right? So how are we going to be able to access the final zone if we're not able to fight through, obviously, Zone 3? So it's going to be very controversial. It's going to be very exciting, and I cannot wait, obviously, for more fighting to come in Call of Dragons. And if you've enjoyed all the way, you know, how I've been presenting the fights of these last couple of days with the BD and NASA camp, you know what to do. Smash a like, comment, and subscribe. And just tell me in the comment section how you've enjoyed this video, because it means I can obviously learn and keep doing those same styles of videos and obviously make more people enjoy the content, right? So with all of that, guys, stay safe, stay sneaky, and I'll catch you guys in Zone 3. So peace out.